Sziasztok srácok, visszatértem. Ahogy ígértem, úgyhogy folytassuk is akkor a közvetítést a Biathlon világbajnokság férfi váltóversenyéről, ami ugye szintén a VB-ről fog szólni. Mindent beállítok, és akkor megnézzük, hogy mi is történt, meg hogy mi volt. Videóra az ütözködni, mit van, jó? Mikrofon audio, jó, azt is jó, szuper, jó. Na, szóval az a lényeg, hogy ugye most jön a férfi verseny, és akkor ugye ez egy 4x7,5 km-es váltó lesz. Úgyhogy itt többet kell nekik ugye futni, persze ugye mert elérhető férfiak, és ugye itt is ugye ugyanaz érvényes, mint a nőknél, ugye mindegyik váltófélnek, mármint ugye embernek van ugye mind a 4 embernek van a váltóból ugye 2 lövészete, egy fekvő és egy álló, és ugye mind a 2 lövészethez ugye jár 3 darab tartalék lőszer, mármint a fekvőbe, és 3 darab meg a hálóhoz is. Úgyhogy nézzük meg, hogy mi hogy is történt. Hát igazából ugye hát az esélyes, ugye ez nem más, mint ugye hát mindjárt mondom nektek, mert már elfelejtettem. Nem más, mint ugye ugye hát a címvédő francia csapat, de viszont most nagyon erős a norvég csapat, ugye hát a 4-es, ugye hát a Negreit és a bőtestvérek Tárja és Johannet, meg ugye most ugye nem izé van ugye negyediknek ugye Johannes Dahle, hanem ugye a Vetle Jastad Christiansen, aki majd ugye a befejező verseny lesz elméletileg. És akkor ugye a németeknél ugye Erik Lesser, Romaris, Ant, Pfeiffer és Benedikt Doll, a címvédő francia pedig Anton Gigonát, Fiumai, Desztyű és Jacqueline fog zárni, a oroszoknál pedig Kareli, Elisejev, Loginov és Latyipov, a svédeknél pedig Pepe Femling, Nelin, Martin, Ponsiluoma és Sebastian Samuelson, a olaszok, akik még úgy beleszavadnak azoknál Jonas Hofer, Giacomer és Windis. Mondjuk a osztályoknál sincs rossz 4-es, mivel ugye David Komács, Simon Eder, Felix Leitner és Julian Eberhard. Hát ők szóltak nagyon a éremhez, de hát ugyanolyan a többiek, nem? Összesen ez 27 darab váltó, ugye a nőknél volt 23, és ugye a férfiaknál lesz most 27. Na, úgyhogy vágjunk is bele akkor a férfi váltóba. Na, nézzük.
Well, a very good afternoon, and after the women's relay this morning, we now have the men's 4x7.5, a much-awaited race to decide the top team for the year, and always difficult to predict exactly who's going to come out on top. I guess, Mike, we have some probables, as in Norway, France and Germany, and then quite a long list of possibles for medals.
I'm with you on that, and Sweden is one of those. Italy, slimmer chance. Austria have been looking good, and maybe Ukraine as well.
Well, that may well turn out to be the case. And anything that we gleaned from this morning in terms of the women's relay, the fact I was thinking, particularly for the last leg runners who suddenly got a gust of wind that lasted 45 seconds, but caused mayhem.
It was significant. It really affected Reuschland. She was in first position, and it really did put her wrong. We may well get the same, and often the wind has picked up slightly as the sun begins to go down here. So, what, 10 to 3 local time?
Well, Guiganat called into the French squad. Already got himself a gold medal. Brilliant performance by Guiganat in the single mixed relay alongside Julia Simon.
He took a celebratory swim in Lake Bled, pretty cool, but it was to celebrate the gold medal.
Or to get over the hangover after the celebrations, I think probably more likely. It works wonders. Air temperature at 6 degrees. What a contrast. That must be a 20-degree shift we've had in these championships so far. And the snow temperature at 0, not such an issue for the freestyle skating technique. The classic skiers wouldn't enjoy it very much. Let's have a look at the tracks. Again, Mike, this big climb out of the stadium.
It's a huge climb, and it has been a significant factor for every single race. If you hit this too hard from the start, or as you leave the range, it catches you out later. So 3 times round this 2.5 kilometre for each biathlete as they hand on to the next biathlete. A lot of climbing as well over this tough profile.
Well, there's Vetle Sjostad Christiansen, who's in the Norwegian team, and he's being given the toughest job of all. He has got to finish off their race today, and certainly they're going to have the French to contend with at some stage. Simon Detieu, you know, looks pretty solid. He's put in a couple of very, very good races. So for me, he's coming back to form. Germany, Mike, Roman Rees gets the call up. Piper again will be the key man.
Piper will. Roman Rees, I think he's a safe bet. He only missed 1 out of 20 in the one race he's had.
Roman Rees.
The RBU, well, once upon a time, the biggest threat to all the teams, but I'm sure they've got the strength and depth at these championships to threaten for the gold.
Nanin. És ugye itt látható a pálya, ugye?
Start and first flat part. Stadium in front of me and waxing box. First downhill, incline about 10%. Approaching first split time. And now the longest and the fastest downhill in Pokjuka.
Well, the 4x7.5 about to get underway here in Pokjuka, the second last day of racing at the World Championships. And the athletes all a little nervous, having been through their zeroing. Well, here's a look at the course profile from Thomas Globocznuk.
Yeah, he's been a busy man this week, Mike, skiing all the tracks, and generally the track's not in that good a condition when he's been round, but this the steepest, longest climb.
It just reminds me how much snow did fall prior, or the first couple of days off the championships, but very much warmer now.
Yeah, I think he did all these takes on one day, so he was exhausted.
Slow conditions. Obviously, that's new snow, much faster today as they drop down the steep descents.
Well, it's a good thing we're coming to the end of the championships. The snow melting rapidly today with beautiful conditions, 6-7 degrees at the moment as we have a look at the teams. Ligrid starts it off for Norway, Giegena, Lesser, Kalili. That's going to be an interesting first leg, and I think maybe an opportunity for Ligrid to get clear if he produces his normal shooting standards. America going with Nordgren on leg number 1. And again, a good turnout of teams. We had 23 teams in the women's race earlier on today.
Annyi metetne, ugye? Lesser.
2 world champs in the first line.
The German quartet. Russia starting it with Kalili, brilliant shot. Lisiev logging off, and Latyapov, who's proved himself a pretty handy anchorman over the last couple of months. Where's the weakness in the Swedish team, Mike, if there is one?
If there is one, I would say the second leg with respect. Nellen just hasn't been hitting targets well here. 83rd position in the individual, missing what, 7 targets.
Nice to see Italy putting one of their stronger skiers at the end. Vindish, who didn't get the shout for the mixed relay, but he is in the men's relay. Someone's forgotten their transponder. That could have been a little bit awkward. Imagine your teammates if you'd started without your transponder.
He's got it on now, or was it a ski as well?
Possibly. Well, it wasn't the Norwegians. There's Ligrid. He looks very, very intense at the moment. So the 5th relay of the season, and so far we've had 4 different winners. So welcome to Pokjuka, last race of the day, with only one more day of World Championship action tomorrow. The mass starts tomorrow. Lesser has the first leg for Germany, and Ries, Piper, Dole. It's a strong quartet. Norway with Ligrid, Burr, the 2 Burr brothers going 2 and 3, which surprised many, and Christiansen on the anchor leg. And then the French, the team that took the gold medal in Antolz with Martin Fourcade. Today they race without him. Giegena, Filmayer, Detieu, and then Emilien Jacquelin takes the last leg. Jacquelin, of course, the gold medalist in the pursuit earlier in the championships.
Yes, Jacquelin, slightly fresher legs, didn't take part in the single mixed relay, so he will be feeling good as called upon for the final stage to challenge anybody, especially last 500 meters.
Provided he's in contention, of course. It could all go horribly wrong. The French dropped off early doors in the women's race earlier, but recovered well. Very impressive second half to the race. So no separation at the moment.
It's going to be busy, isn't it? Some of the teams further back can have a chance here to move forward, possibly pass, if possible. There we are, teams coming through. I thought they might. You need to fight for your position in the lower part of this climb. Not much room as you go further up the mountain.
Yeah, that was about the only opportunity, wasn't it, on the flats behind the stadium. And then as the hill gets steeper, the track gets a little bit narrower. And you can get past, but it takes an immense amount of effort. And at this stage of the relay, it's very seldom done, and it's not really worth it.
It seems like Lygrid and alongside him, Giganat, they've slowed it down now, so it's difficult to get past. So they're maybe just controlling a fairly decent pace here, but not full out yet.
We're only going to have 3 lanes spare on the range. 27 teams entered.
Yes, Moldova for the first time, made up of some Russian athletes, but obviously they've crossed over to build this team, to give it some experience initially.
And just in case you're interested in or always follow the medal tables, I can tell you that Norway have moved on to 5, 1 and 3 in terms of gold, silver and bronze. They lead the way by big margins. 3 gold medals ahead of France, who have 2 apiece and have had a pretty good championships, but if they could win 2 of the last 3 races, I think that would be the icing on the cake for them. Sweden in 3rd place, a good worlds for them again. Really, since 2018, the Swedes have done very well. 1, 2 and 2. And I was wondering, you know, while I was eating my lunch, Mike, how much credit Wolfgang Pichler takes for the success of the Swedes now that he's no longer with them.
Oh, I think he takes a huge amount of credit. Of course, he was building the team for the Olympics, and then as a sidekick, they got the World Championships in Östersund, and they really were winning more medals there in Östersund. They showed their strengths at the Olympics. So I think Wolfgang Pichler, in fact, over many, many years, back to the 1990s when he worked with the team there, he really has gelled it again in recent times.
A little bit of a gap back to, I think it was the Czechs, very similar to the Norwegian suit, but the Norwegian suit is the one up front, as you can see. Lygrid setting the pace, and the French seem to be happy to sit in behind at the moment. Antonin Giganat in that team today. Had a poor season last year, Giganat. Sort of signs of what he can do. His troubles, Mike, do you put it down to overtraining?
I think so. You know, you have a great season, or he had a great season, and then you're fatigued. That was Czech Republic problem there with the skipo. And I think you have an element of in putting so much focus into, 35 races. You're drained as you go into the next summer, and you try again to hit hard. And I think that might have been Giganat's undoing. And but he seems to be getting back up to where he was 2-3 seasons ago. Well, Lygrid has really punched the pace hard now, and he's got total separation behind him. Obviously a clear plan.
Yeah, I think with his shooting, he feels that on this range in particular, he can afford to push hard and get the recovery required before he comes in to shoot. And it won't be long now. That sweeping right turn. And then the woods start to open out. And Lygrid, no doubt, starting to think about his prone shoot. Norway going in lane 1. They've been in the top 2 of every relay so far this season. They won in Kontiolahti, and then they were second in Hofvilsen, Oberhof and Antholz. France won in Oberhof. We had Sweden winning in Hofvilsen, and an impressive win by the RBU last time out.
Well, the coaches are looking calm, but the athletes won't be. But into automatic reaction. They've done this many, many times in training.
France with a team that won here in 2016. They also won here in 2001, which was a World Championship year. And they've started well. Good shooting from Giegana.
Belarus taking the lead there. Oh, it was Giegana in the end. I thought Belarus, Labastu, I thought he was going to make it out first, but second place. Sweden having to use all 3 spare rounds. That's expensive time wasted to hand feed the 3 spares.
Yeah, finally they get away, but 22.5 given away by Sweden. A similar story to the women's race earlier. They gave themselves too much to chase. One good race from Giegana, and his confidence is back. Is he going to add a gold to the gold that he got 2 days ago? Welcome back to Pokjuka, and still quite a long file of athletes at the front of the field in the men's relay. One shoot completed. France were the first away. Labastu, Ligrid all up there. What did we have? 10 seconds separating the top 10 teams after that first shoot. You're not going to win it on shoot number 1, but you can certainly make life difficult for yourself. And Finland, Mike, one of 3 teams on the penalty loop.
Yes, that's a real shame for Finland. I thought they would do better. Also, Zachna from Estonia normally does so well as the starter, but he's on the penalty loop as well. And 13 out of the 27 nations have hit 5 out of 5.
A slightly higher percentage than normal. Normally we have, what, 9 or 10 teams that hit 5 with 5 in the relay.
Yes, it's great light today, isn't it, on the range, although shade coming into the left side of the range, but very limited. Oh, hey, that's a bit of a situation, but he managed to balance his way out of it.
That was a good recovery from the Czechs, I think.
Just a couple of young athletes being put on the lead out. Biathlon from Italy, he's only 20. Well, he's 21-year-old on Monday. And there is Hartweg as well, 20-year-old. Both doing well after the the first shoot. Hartwig only 13 seconds behind.
Yeah, Biathlon very quick through that first shoot, came out in 4th position, just 3 seconds down, finding it a bit harder to live with the pace now, but good start from the youngster. But Norway back in front, controlling the pace, and I think Lygrid would probably be your world's #1 choice for the opening leg of a relay, wouldn't he, Mike?
He really would. But looking at his relays, Patrick, strangely, he's missed 9 shots this season from 50 fired in relays. That's mixed relays as well, as opposed to his incredible stats, 97% hit rate and 90% hit rate in his individual races. So he takes a little more risk in the relay, and it doesn't always pay off.
Well, as we said in the last race, he spent a lot of time modelling his shooting on Martin Pokjuka. He spent a season where he couldn't race through to illness, and he spent his time well. Again in the relay, he's just less focused. Somehow, maybe it's the 3 spare rounds. We'll get this one, I'm quite sure. Yeah, I wonder whether it's the rush to get that first round to go. It's only a second and a half. Everyone missing in the leading groups, but Lygrid is the first to clear 5. Romania have done remarkably well. Ukraine put themselves into the top positions with a good 5 with 5, as do the Swiss. Good start from them. France and Italy, Mike, are in a spot of bother, as are Austria, and the Germans 3 rounds for 2 targets. Should be able to clear that, but not the sort of start that you expect from the big nations. And Austria on the penalty loop. Oh, horrible start. Biathlon again trying to stay with that lead pace. He's only 20 and took a lot of risk there. Giga struggled, really took a long time to get the final shot away. Yeah, three teams on the penalty loop last time round. Austria breaking to the right, and it's running at about 24 seconds at the moment. The Americans avoid it, but miss a lot of targets. There's the first one from Lygrid, high left. High left can't, I mean, you look at his position and you always have confidence. The rifle throughout is just so steady. I think, as you maybe mentioned, he just tried to get that shot away fast, the first shot at about 13 seconds. So everything going according to plan for Norway at the moment. 9 seconds lead this time. They were 3 seconds behind after the first shoot. Warm-up loop on the right. You can see some of the second leg athletes just getting themselves prepared. Actually, they must be third leg, because the second leg athlete's already in the exchange box waiting for the first leg to complete, which will only be another couple of minutes, and Lygrid looks to be stepping on the gas now. Oh, he is, and what a comfort zone that is to hand over with a cushion at the moment, 10 seconds. It just takes the pressure off the next athlete, because they don't have to chase. As soon as you're chasing, you come in exhausted, over your normal limit when you come in to shoot. Yeah, lots of the minor nations up there in that chase group. We've got Ukraine, we've got Belarus, we've got Romania, Switzerland, Belgium are there with Langer. Great start from the Belgian team. I think Mickey Rush, no doubt, will be watching this. He will have enjoyed their start. Gigan, Mike, 19 behind after the shoot, but he's worked his way through the field and back up into second place. Well, he really has worked hard for that. A lot of traffic to get through, and Lygrid just punching as hard as he can now, trying, desperate to get another gold medal. It's been good so far. He's got 2. Now, do you see Norway leading from here on in, or is one of their remaining 3 going to make a mess of things? Tarjei Bo's next. Johannes Tingesberg takes leg 3, and Vetle Sjostad Christiansen on leg 4. Oh, they're such a hugely experienced team, aren't they? Tarjei Bo especially, but his stance shooting hasn't really filled you with a huge amount of confidence, especially at these championships. And he's only a 77% hit rate throughout the season, so a little concern there maybe for the Norwegian. Yeah, and he's up against Phil Maillet of France on the second leg. I fancy Phil Maillet to close that down a little. A gap maybe somewhere around 23, 24 seconds by the time this leg is over. That goes down as an excellent start for Norway, looking to do the double, having won this morning. Roysland just scraping home.
Agreed. It's just beautiful, isn't it? Such strength through the right side, bringing the right foot as far up into the hill as he can. But is this, it looks like Giganat trying to close it down. It was 19. He might have nibbled a couple more seconds. No, not quite.
Well, he's limited the damage. Belarus, Switzerland in 3 and 4, Belgium in 5. If only this were the last leg and they were on the verge of a famous top 5, that would be great news, but it won't be the case. Biathlon in 6 for Italy. I think the Italians will be happy with the first leg. Hoffer is next, Mike, and Hoffer could get them up into the top 3, but the women's relay this morning, Italy led after the first leg. A perfect performance from Lisa Vitozzi, but then things really went a little awry from there.
Rohan, där debuten.
Unfortunately, it did. Vitozzi's time actually was even faster than Tyrell Eckhoff's leg time, so Vitozzi really will build, I hope, confidence into tomorrow, and I'm sure she'll get a start with her, 5th place in the sprint.
Yeah, Lisa Vitozzi is in. She's wearing bib number 25 tomorrow. Unless, of course, someone withdraws from those who've already qualified.
Giganat looking exhausted. This is his strength when it comes to getting energy out of curves, tight bends, and the downhill, as we saw yesterday in the single mixed relay. 2 days ago. Oh dear.
Well, let's see what the time gap is, because Lygrid certainly didn't rest on his laurels. He's been practicing the technique, keep the poles out of the way, sensible move, not really to protect his own pole, but to stop him doing any damage to Talia Bo, who is off for Norway. Next in, France are there. Giganat handing over to Phil Maillet, and Belarus have done exceptionally well on the first leg.
22 seconds, huge deficit.
Utána félorosz a franciák, olaszok, svájcok és a belgák. Utána pedig Románia.
And 22 seconds relating to at least 2 spare rounds.
Utána az oroszok, utána a szlovénok,
doing a good job.
Utána az ukránok, svédek.
Generally, if the Norwegians only use 6 spare rounds in the day, Mike, they tend to win. They've used 2 already. Belgium still clean.
Yeah, I was just thinking, Norwegians on their first leg at the championships last year, and that was Christensen. He was on the penalty loop, and they were 38 seconds adrift, only making it back up into second.
So Norway, Belarus, France, Italy, and Switzerland, the top 5. Welcome back to Pokjuka. The first leg is completed in the men's relay, and all the teams across the line. 27 teams entered in all. Eric Lesser absolutely out after his effort today. Germany coming in down in 20th place, Mike. 123 behind. I was thinking we hadn't said much about the Germans, and already using 3 spares, but I suspect something else up with Eric Lesser to throw away that much time.
Well, that's so strange. German team, remember the World Championships, World Cups here in the past. We've had issues where the German athlete has run out of steam twice on this track, and I think that's what's happened to Eric today. He was there with the pace, but very quickly dropped off and just managed to glide across the line exhausted.
Yeah, I think Morgenstern will be delighted that it's now, instead of Morgenstern's Mountain, it's going to be Lesser's Lump, I think. Yeah, it is that sort of course, isn't it? If you suddenly go into a state of exhaustion, you lose so much time.
And that was the case with Eric. On lap 1, he was there with the pace of Lagryd. On lap 2, he only lost somewhat 12-15 seconds, so really caught up with him on the final time around this 2.5 kilometer. The Austrians as well are still back there. It's 8 are out now, 1:11 behind, but that's because of the penalty look from David Komatz. And Komatz is an excellent shot. He's just really tried to stay with the pace and came in way over his comfort zone. So unlikely for him to place himself on the penalty loop.
15 teams within a minute of the leaders, Norway. And Japan doing okay at 1:01, Austria at 1:02, and the Austrian order today, Komatz Mike was talking about, Simon Eder is on this second leg, so you'd expect them to make a bit of ground, particularly in the range, and then to finish it off for Austria, Leitner and Eberhardt. This is Tarja Bö, the overall world champion, the overall World Cup winner from way back in 2011. I think he won a world title that year as well.
Did it was the individual.
Well, not many Norwegians have hit 5 with 5 today, Mike, but that could be a very important shoot for Tarja, especially if the others start to miss. Phil Maillet is on the mat for France, and he throws his 3rd one wide. Not such a good shoot for the Italians. Lukas Hoffer missing a couple early on. And all this is playing into the hands of the champions from 2019. France, of course, the defending champions.
Yes, and Tarja Bö, he just looked so calm, so composed, didn't waste any time, and just didn't feel the occasion, just kept with his normal feeling and routine.
Yeah, surprisingly, Mike, though,
Utána bytó
20-second lead initially, or slightly more than 22.7 for Norway. It's still only got up to 24.3, so I don't think Tarja was pushing all the buttons on that first lap.
No, that surprised me because those chasing, they all used a number 1 to 3 spare rounds. I think Slovenia with Fak on now, it was an okay start at 45 seconds behind. Slovenia working their way up to 39 seconds and 5th place.
Kalili from the RBU took the first leg. Matveev, Lisiev there now, but they're slowly climbing up the order, down in 7th at the moment.
What about Canada? Wouldn't it be fabulous if Canada could get a medal as they did in 2016 at the World Championships in this race? And 2 of the members, the Gau brothers, were there that day. They're here today as well.
Yeah, the only non-European team to claim a medal in the men's relay.
They are a good team, and with the Gau brothers more experience now, normally shooting very well, they must see some hope there, and potential if they shoot to their capacity. Only 2 spare rounds so far for the Canadians.
A little bit of problem with athlete recognition in the group behind. Italy, France and Switzerland pretty much wearing identical suits. Phil Maillet, you may well be aware of his technique. He's left of your screen in the shadows. Hoffer on the right. And then at the back for Switzerland, we have Benny Vega. still at 24. So no gains by the chase group. Tadej holding his own. Next group of athletes containing Ukraine, the only team so far, or the only team still to have hit every target at the first time of asking. That's really impressive. Fact for Slovenia, the host nation, 41.3 behind. And Mike, I wonder, you know, desperately unlucky for Pokjuka and the Slovenian Biathlon Federation. They've been waiting for this event for many years. They put a huge amount of effort into preparing for it, and they put a big effort into promoting it at the World Championships last year. But to have a World Champs with no spectators, not only the financial blow, but I wonder how people will remember it.
They'll remember without a doubt. The races have been excellent. The tracks and conditions have been excellent. You mentioned earlier the variation of temperature, somewhat 20 degrees. It's a real pity that 20,000 each day spectators weren't able to be here. And it's the first World Championships where that situation has happened, of course.
Yeah, and this morning's race was excellent. One of the best women's relays we've seen, with 3 teams finishing within 10 seconds. But we both commented that the atmosphere just wasn't there. It seemed sort of, there seemed to be a vacuum in the stadium.
And this race, we saw how exciting the women's race was. The men's is a long way to run, but it's looking good for Norway. But this race always brings tension, excitement, surprises, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Hoffer is now starting to make ground. He's gained 3 seconds on Norway. Fiormaillet, I think, just controlling himself. He could go with Hoffer, have absolutely no doubt about that. But I think he just wants to keep the pulse rate under control. Benny Vega looks to be struggling in 4th, but he may well recover on the downhill into the stadium. And
there's
these 3 teams, Pokjuka, the Ukrainians have done well today.
Yes, and his wife, Pedrushny, I wonder what they said after the women's relay where Pedrushny was caught sleeping. She thought she had second. She backed off with 80 to go and was passed in the final home straight. But they still got bronze. And of course, the World Championships, Patrick, of course, this one was supposed to go to Russia and Chimen. But of course they lost that. And I think that Slovenia have done so well at fairly short notice to step in and organize this.
Tadej looking very composed,
És most
beautifully balanced on the ski, which is nearly always an indication that he's feeling good.
Well, Lukas Hoffer is
És most
really
egy Tadej
pressed
ugye a
this one
második
hard,
lövésztíz.
and he'll shoot fast. There's one thing about Lukas Hoffer, no matter how exhausted he is, he'll build that precision fast.
Az
He'll
álló
release the shots
lövészetéhez.
fast. I hope he gets all 5.
So, 4th shoot of the day.
Na nézzük
Up towards
Tadejét.
the halfway point of the
Mit
men's
tud?
relay. Oh, that was a 10.
Két hiba.
Now, one miss, Mike, and it's pretty much routine. But when you miss 2 and you've only got 3 rounds left, everyone else senses an opportunity.
And Hoffer has, but he's gone too fast. He's missed 2 out of the first 5.
Fiormaillet 3-6-ról.
Norway in danger of doing a penalty loop, but so are France and so are Italy.
Tadejből most
Down
már jó,
it goes.
most már
Norwegians
tovább.
breathe a sigh of
És a
relief. And
franciáknál
the
lesz egy
French are on the
büntetőkör.
penalty loop. Mike, Fiormaillet has made their tasks that much harder. Italy and Lukas Hoffer just waiting, and it's not the win. The flags are absolutely still here in the stadium. This is all about World Championship pressure, and the Ukrainians can cope with it, and so can the Swiss.
Well, when you push that hard on the track, we mentioned Lukas Hoffer, the attack that he was giving. Fiormaillet was on his limit, but had to break a little coming into the range. It didn't work there on the penalty loop. Oh, what a pity.
So France, from being 20 seconds behind, are going to end up at least 40 seconds back on the race leaders. It's not over by any means. If you're a fan of the French, Detieux and Jacquelin, they can do some damage in the closing stages, but it's not the scenario that they were hoping for. Tardier very good in the prone, shaky in the stand. Lukas Hofer lost his nerve on the 5th shot. He must have been there for 10, 11, 12 seconds before he cleared it.
Unusual there for Lukas Hofer. It seemed like he couldn't eject, couldn't pull the shell, the empty case that was in the chamber. Problem with his extractors, could not grip hold of the empty shell.
Hofer trying to find a way through, tucks in behind Pokjuka. Benny Vega again pushed to the back of the group, but doesn't matter. Benny's done a good job here today, and Jako Fak just behind him. So the Slovenians are still there, down in 5th place at the moment. 41 seconds behind going into the range, cut to 25 coming out. In terms of shooting, Simoneda, Mike, 21 seconds. And Gao likewise. Norway, on the other hand, 46. So 25 seconds given away on that one shoot.
And Pokjuka, 5 out of 5, 22.6 seconds. Moravec doesn't normally shoot that fast, in 23 seconds, 4th fastest.
Yeah, it could all be over if... I was just going to say, you know, if Norway had gone clear, there'd be 45 seconds clear.
It's incredible, isn't it? 2 shots missed out of 5. It's expensive, very expensive. And it seemed like Tardier just... He waited, and then a big flinch. The shot missed way low by about 4 centimeters, and that's just holding, running out of air, and then panicking and releasing. Probably wasn't sighted at all with it, missing that far.
Villemay of France, incidentally, is now 46 behind, but the Russians were 40 behind, and they've closed that to 32, so it's not over. But Norway with the world #1, Johannes Tingesbø, is next to go, and his job is to give a huge fat cushion to Christiansen, who's on the anchor leg. And I think Christiansen has probably said a minute and a half will do nicely.
That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? And Christiansen, I thought he might have had more races here, but remember, he was 7th in Antholz and 7th in the individual and 4th in the mass start, and he's only been given a race today.
But you can't say that Dali should have missed out, or Leibrid, for instance. Whose place is he going to take? Tardier?
It's just really out. Yeah, possibly, but it's such a hard team to get in. But look what Tardier has done today. If he takes a little bit extra time on the shooting range, he'll make up for it on the track.
Well, let's see what he's managed to do on the first half of the final lap. He's got another 900 meters to go.
Here's baby brother.
What a fight between Pokjuka and Hofer, and that's keeping these 2 teams in the money. Look at the gap, it's only 18 seconds. They've clawed back 2 seconds on the race leaders. Fak has gone up from 5 to 4. Benny Vega hanging on. He looks absolutely exhausted, Benny Vega.
He gave everything that second lap, I think it was, in the first part of it, ran out of steam a little. And the RBU, that's okay from Alicia.
Yeah, the good news for
3 spares.
Yeah, the good news for Vega, Mike, is he's not racing tomorrow. So he can put his feet up and just wait for the next round of the World Cup.
I really thought Vega would be one of the big names or surprise names here, because his season had been great, but ill health set him back coming in here, and it hasn't gone well until today.
So another 25 seconds or so for Tardier, and he's working hard for his team and his brother, who takes the next leg here. The chasing teams in the background, less than 20 seconds behind. This race is far from over. And if Norway miss 3 shots on a single shoot again, they could be in a spot of bother. They've missed 5 so far. The Ukraine have yet to miss a target, 20 out of 20. If they keep that going, they deserve a medal. And I'm pretty sure that if they don't miss all day, they will take a medal.
And third leg now coming up. Prima is excellent. His form's been good here, shooting good, and Dudchenko, the 24-year-old, is a decent anchor leg.
Look at that, Hoffer, Mike, 10 seconds off Tariathö on that last lap. He put in a really, really good shift there. 12.4 the margin. Slovenia at 26 seconds. Yeah, I don't think they'll have a problem staying in the race for at least another leg. Slovenia with Roctus down next, and then Alex Caesar. It could all go wrong on the last leg for the host nation. But Jakob's done well. So one berth to another, and Norway are halfway there, looking to do the double here in Pokjuka today. Italy at 18 seconds, Switzerland at 31.
Nézzük, hogy Johannes segít nekünk izgalmat csinálni.
First lap for the third leg here in the men's 4x7.5 on the penultimate day of action in the Biathlon World Championships in Slovenia, and Norway had a lead at the last count of 12.4. I suspect it might have grown to something closer to 20.
I think so, although Johannes Tingesbo at the front there, he looked comfortable. He looked like he's going to give more as the race goes on. Well, that has really opened up. It was 12.4. It's now 21.9.
And so he's got at least 2 spare rounds, Mike. Probably, you know, another 2 or 3 seconds, and he's got 3 spare rounds. What he's got to do is make sure he doesn't use them.
He must have been concerned after the single relay 2 days ago, using all his 3 spare rounds in his second prone. Quite worrying, and he didn't feel particularly confident. He had to take a long time to make sure the final shot went down. I hope and I think we'll see a different Johannes Tingesbo on the rifle today.
Norway with 8 medals at these championships so far. 8 teams now with medals in all. Ukraine joining that list with their bronze medal in the women's relay, and the men hoping to do the same, maybe even do even better. One notable absentee from the medal list, Mike, the RBU.
They haven't had a great time. Yes, last year logging off taking the sprint competition. They were chasing medals. They were 4th in this one last year, a little off the pace, 1:44 behind the winners, but 4th place. They would love a medal.
Anything to do with the fact they're not allowed to race under their national flag?
I think the spirit, they did contest it, they did, but I think IBU are absolutely right to say no, race under your federation flag, and other governing bodies have interpreted it differently, but I think IBU interpreted it very well from CAS.
So here we go. First shoot, third leg, prone position as you can see, and Johannes Tingesbø on lane 1 for Norway. Lygrid to Tarjei Bø to Johannes Bø. And Christiansen liking what he's seen so far. He's the man on the anchor. He'll like it even more if this goes down. Oh, it sounded as though it was. It's funny, when you get a split round here, you get that distinct chink, which in the old days used to be a hit.
Oh, he was close, wasn't he? I thought it was going to go down, but a slight flinch there, high left.
Good work from the Italians. Giacomo might actually doing a really good job. He might get within 15 seconds again of Norway. Ukraine, their first miss of the day. So that's, what, 24 hits out of 25. No one's going to sniff at that. Great work from them. And logging off for the RBU up against the Swiss. Switzerland with Jeremy Finello.
Good flow there from logging off, so that's looking an awful lot better from logging off. And Giacomo, he's the second 20-year-old in the Italian team, and it's the third leg. They're still in second place.
Yeah, Vindish versus Christiansen. It could be on the last leg. We've still got another shoot to come on leg 3, but that would be an interesting contest, Mike. Vindish has won World Cups. Christiansen is a step below the rest of the Norwegian team. Many surprised to see him in the quartet instead of Dale.
Yes, it was a surprise for many, but they like what he produced in Antholz, and he secured that position.
Yeah, with a 23-second shoot. Brilliant. Maybe the Italians getting inspired watching the Prada Cup over in New Zealand, where Team Ineos are getting a bit of a pasting.
Oh dear. France still thereabouts. Did you 49 seconds, no real gain, no real loss.
And Germany way down, 13th last time we saw them. They haven't come through the range as yet. The margin between Germany and the leaders at around 1 minute 50. Actually, Pfeiffer's cut that to 1:47, but they're a country mile off the pace at the moment. They made a spectacular comeback in the women's race earlier today. Can they do the same in the men's? It's a tall order. Pfeiffer will be handing over to Benny Doll.
Well, coming in to shoot Pfeiffer, well, he's heading out. No, coming in, he's lost 11 seconds to Johannes on that first lap of 2.5.
Isn't it strange, Mike? We always see the lesser teams in a good... We always see one or two in a good position going through the third leg, only to fade later on. Now, the Italians putting Vindish last. I think they'll be fairly confident, and Vindish is pretty well rested. Prima in third. For Ukraine on the ankle leg today, we have Dudchenko. How do you think he'll do?
Do you know, I looked at that before the race, and I think Dudchenko, he showed his strength, didn't he? In Antholz, where he finished 5th in the individual, so over 20 kilometers, he hit all the targets. He didn't show so well here at 78th.
I was going to say.
Only 3, but I do believe in him when it comes to a relay.
Yeah, the standing shoot is the issue, but at least he gets 8 rounds to hit 5 targets.
And the pressure, you throw the pressure in there as well, it boils up. I think the Swiss team are doing an excellent job. Only 3 spare rounds in 4th place. And Slovenia, that's also fabulous at 48 behind 6th position. At this stage in the race, I think they'll be happy.
Norway, the champions from 2019, they've won, what, 6 of the last 9 world titles, and they've been on the podium in 12 of the last 13. 2017, where was that? Hochfilzen, they had a bit of a nightmare and missed out on that occasion. That was Germany's championships in Hochfilzen. Dalmar, of course, their main player, but Benny Doll getting the sprint title. Simon Schempp was still going well. Giacomo, he's not lost a lot of time to the fastest skier on the tour. Less than 10 seconds given away on this last lap.
Prima's lost 11, but then it is to Johannes Tingesbø, and Johannes still looks like he's taking it within himself. He'll probably explode on the last lap, as in explode in terms of speed, not burn out.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. It's not really, you know, compared to what he's done in previous championships, Mike, it's been fairly modest from Johannes Tinges.
I think it has, and it's all to do with the shooting. His ski speed's still there, it's still always there. But you can't afford to miss, for example, 2 shots in the sprint race, and he finished 5th position. One less, he would have had potential to win it.
You're going to be happy to put a bit of money on Sweden getting up to the top 3. They're back in the picture. They're only 106 behind.
I think so. When you look at the teams ahead with respect, Switzerland, it may not go so well from here on in, and the RBU team as well, although Latypov is a good anchor man, so I think there's teams ahead that are slightly weaker and could come back into this.
Sweden could be looking for their 6th medal of the championships. Norway, 3 shoots remaining. Their margin back to close to 20 seconds. Giacomo just inside that. Prima of Ukraine back at 28 at the moment.
No wind influence whatsoever. It's as calm as it can be for shooting.
That's how to do it. That is how to do it. Excellent shooting from Johannes. It wasn't out of control, but he didn't hang around. He didn't take too much care. And Giacomo, I think, just slightly put off by the fact that the Norwegian rattled them down that easy.
He's exhausted, Patrick, and Giacomo has tried to stick to that fast routine, and it's just such a waste. Now he's on the penalty loop.
Yeah, Vindish. Oh, the whole... all the hearts in the Italian camp sinking at the moment, but Ukraine go through. Ukraine remain the best shooting team. Just 1 miss so far out of the 30 targets down. RBU now with a chance of moving back into the medals, because Italy still struggling on the range. The Swiss having a same sort of story with Jeremy Finello, who...
And this is where... Yeah, sorry, this is where Sweden now have a real chance. The weaker athletes struggling. I thought they might at this stage. When you push so hard, you're not going to keep that rifle steady on the range.
Martin Ponsiluoto on course for Sweden. He's already got himself a gold medal. And Ponsiluoto just missing 1. He shot very quickly. France are back in it as well. And that's Simon Detieu, who's done a good job. And Emilien Jacquelin will be overjoyed to see the fact that he's going to be setting off within, 40 seconds of 2nd place. So a great battle between Sweden and Finland. Samuelsson on the course last for Sweden. And he's no slouch. I think a Jacquelin-Samuelsson battle would be very interesting.
I'm delighted for Johannes Tingesbø. That is so secured. So many of those shots, 3 of them, would put the prone target down. That's real good story for his confidence, and only 23.4 seconds.
So the gap at the front now, 31 seconds. And Artem Prima it is who's trying to keep pace with the world number 1, Johannes Tinges, through 20.8.
I think we'll see that extend when Prima comes through. It was 31. I think at this point we'll see Prima, 36 seconds behind. And then it's going to extend by more when Johannes Tingesbø comes into the finish. Or the handover. He's exhausted.
Yeah, Johannes Tingis with all the information that he needs. 31 at the range, 38 now, so Prima's losing a bit of time. Logging off for the RBU, was in third place. He's still in third place, and it looks as though Giacomel is closing down on him, actually. The Italian, having done a penalty loop, still only 54 behind, and still with a chance of getting a medal, because Vindish is no slouch, but Sweden and Ponzalomo are starting to make a move.
They are, and if you've been on the penalty loop, you've got that 150 metres extra in your legs, the frustration of having missed some targets.
Now, Sweden were 115, they're still at 115, so no gain on the leader, but because Prima has lost over 10 seconds, they are getting closer and closer to the medals. I hesitate to say that the gold is going to Norway, because something can always go wrong. And actually, Mike, we're getting to the stage where Christiansen on the last leg now has quite a lot of expectation on his shoulders. He's going to get a cushion of some 35 seconds, and the bigger that gap, the more they're expected to win, and the more nervous it makes you.
Oh, and we've seen spectacular collapses, if you like, in the history of the relay, but hopefully, and Christiansen is normally a very safe bet on the anchor leg or on any leg in the relay, but he hasn't raced here yet, and that worries me. He's been training for this relay, he knows that, so he's got it in his mind, but he hasn't really felt the pain at race pace with a World Championship bib on yet at these champs.
Yeah, and I think Norway will still be concerned by Sweden and France in particular. Samuelsson and Jacquelin can easily take 30 seconds out of Christiansen. So we're set for a really exciting occasion. And actually, I wonder whether Norway are now thinking, oh, we should have put Johannes on the last leg.
Well, look at the damage he's doing here. That's nearly 15 seconds gained on Prima, and Prima is giving absolutely everything. There won't be many staying anywhere near Johannes Tingesbø's pace.
Latyapov at 58. So Christiansen will have a, 300, maybe 350 meter lead over Latyapov on that last leg. Here he is.
Oh, the pressure is...
I know, he looks a bag of nerves. Usually pretty good, but as I mentioned this morning, Mike, he's only got a 68% hit rate in the stand in the relays over the last 2 seasons.
That's a little scary, but I think, and I do believe, what we saw in Antholz 2-3 weeks ago, he looked good, he was skiing fast, he was hitting so many targets. Hopefully, he can just do it as normal and not feel the pressure.
So Norway led at the first leg, the second, and the third exchange as well. They have one more to go. 7,500 metres between themselves and the finish line, but the small matter of 10 targets to hit as well. Christiansen, a reputation for being a good shot, but can he do it when it really matters, and particularly in the stand position? I just get the feeling there's another twist to come.
The smiles there from the coaches, Patrick Overegger, delighted. And they're delighted to see that Johannes Tingesbø is what looked back to normal there on the range. Prima exhausted, nearly fell with 200 metres to go.
And Prima coming out of the range was at 31 seconds, so losing a fair chunk of time, 20 seconds given away. That's almost 200 metres given away to Johannes Tingesbø on that last 2.5k loop. So good work from the Norwegians. And the RBU with Loginov handing over to Latyapov. Medals possible. They have not got one so far.
Loginov only losing 7 seconds. That's good skiing. 7 seconds to Johannes Tingesbø.
Vindish, Samuelsson and Jacquelin set off together in pursuit of the medals. One of those 3 teams surely is going to get a medal, possibly 2. I don't think 3 are going to manage it, but 2 is a distinct possibility. Two teams lapped already.
It's unfortunate. Just looking at the lap times there for leg 3, Patrick. So Johannes Tingesbo 17 minutes 37, 28 seconds ahead of the next, which was Loginov, and Titu 29 seconds behind. Ponsaloma 30, so a huge gap there, over 7.5 kilometers from Johannes.
That will give him confidence before the mass start tomorrow. And here comes Latypov.
Yes, tomorrow they race twice the distance, 15 kilometer at the end of a very busy, 12, 13 days.
Yeah, an opportunity for someone who's been rested, but generally, if you've been rested, you don't get a start. Christiansen's in a pretty good position, Mike, for the mass start. Hasn't raced until today, but today will be a sharpener for the 15K tomorrow.
Yes, and some were concerned that he might drop out of the top 15, therefore he wouldn't start at World Championships. You need to be top 15 for a definite start, and then it's on your results here. But thankfully, he did hold on to 15th place in World Cup rankings.
Yeah, just behind Simonada and Benny Doll.
Benny Doll, I think Benny Doll is going to go dynamic on this track. He needs to. There's still 2:21 behind the German team in 10th place. Great shooting though. They've only missed 3 targets, 3 spare rounds.
Germany with only 3 medals at these championships so far. It has not been a good season for them. I wonder how much they offered Dalmar to come back.
Should still be great. Of course, she's into distance racing now, isn't she? Running, that is.
So Christiansen through 24.1, and again getting all the information. It'd be nice to be in the team meeting. Mike, do you think the athletes get to say what they want to hear, and if you don't want any information, do you state that?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it can be so irritating, but for the first time, Johannes Tinges never complains or brings a negative to the table unless it's really required. But he was disappointed about the information he didn't get in the second race, the sprint competition. He thought he was doing better than he actually was in terms of his time and in relation to others. So something happened on that day.
Yeah, I think it was probably to do with Jacques Alain's time, who was started behind him and finished ahead of him in terms of time. So Jacques Alain taking the bronze, Johannes Tinges down in 5th place.
Yeah, there wasn't much in it. Well, this is looking so controlled, isn't it, from Christiansen, his first day racing at the World Championships, but so composed and very, very smooth and efficient.
He's shot pretty well in the relays that he's done so far. He hasn't missed a prone target in a relay so far this season. But then again, he's only done 2. But still, it's probably a good indication that they don't need to fret too much, particularly with the conditions that we've got here in Pokjuka. So in they come. Only difference between now and the start of the race is that the sun has gone, and that will affect the sights.
Did you see Christiansen wiping his eyes there? The sweat is very warm. The sweat through the hat is in his eyes. He got rid of that. Hopefully it's not going to affect his vision.
Does a double check to see the flags are as still as they are. Nice 9 ring. Little left, that will make Ziggy Mazet a little shaky. He'll be holding his breath for this one, but down it goes, 5 with 5, and he's halfway there. He is halfway there. Now he's just got to decide what pace does he attack the penultimate loop. Does he save something for a sprint, should it come to that, or does he try and extend his lead to something close to 45 seconds?
Well, I think he has to hold within a little coming into his second shoot, the stand shooting, and just looking further back, Jacques Alain has only pulled 1 second back from Christiansen. I thought Jacques Alain would be attacking on this first lap.
RBU versus Ukraine. A little bit of a nudge match going on here, and it's Latypov first to strike. And he's got the psychological advantage as target 4 goes down. RBU going into silver medal position. And then the chasers. Sweden, we've got France, we've got Italy, and we still have Slovenia going really well.
Dachenko affected by those 3 teams alongside him now. 4 teams coming in.
It's rapid fire. It's all about gambling at this stage, and it pays off. Sweden, Italy, France down the 5, and they move up into the medal positions. The RBU certainly aren't safe in second, Mike. I think there could be some pressure there, but that was some excellent shooting. Jacqueline and Samuelson in particular just threw caution to the wind.
Lehet, hogy lesz egy végre egy olasz érem, és akár egy ezüst is.
Latypov, that left elbow, very similar to Loganov, getting the left elbow way under the barrel and locking tight.
Jacqueline shooting in 24.9, Samuelson at 26.2, Latypov at 25.4. Norway, Christiansen, a slightly more sedate 27.1, but still very respectable.
Yes, Slovenia just losing positions there with the spare rounds from Sisha. They're still down 7th place.
Well, we've got a 54-second lead for the race leaders, Norway, but between positions 3 and 6, we just have 2 seconds, and here they are. This is the battle at the moment for the bronze medal. It could well turn into the battle for the gold, because Latypov is what? He's 20 seconds ahead, 23 seconds ahead, Latypov. It's not a huge amount. 2 missed targets on his last shoot, and he could be in trouble.
It's rare that we see such a huge gap at this stage, close to a minute, 4 seconds off a minute from Team 2 to Team 1. And last year, it was 21 seconds from gold to silver last year at the World Championships.
The RBU taking the bronze medal in Antolz earlier on.
Vindish just going wide there ahead of Jacqueline. I'm a little surprised at that. I thought Jacqueline would be punching the pace harder than he is. He's not wanting to lead. The snow, local time, just coming up 4:05. It's not changing. The temperatures are still warm. You can see the snow even in the shade. It's still splashing up. It's still quite wet. Clear. I like the clear instructions there. Not shouting, go faster, not going crazy, just giving very clear, precise information on those behind.
We have certainly seen a lead of a minute evaporate on the last shoot before.
Hochfilsen.
I can remember Hochfilsen with Germany. Sven Fischer, I think it was, on the last leg. Austria coming through to take the win. Can you think of any more?
I'm just thinking, yeah, sadly for the Norwegians and Svensson into the range, first position for the final stand, and he finished in 4th place.
That must have been Sochi.
That was Sochi.
Still at around 56 seconds, so Christiansen holding his own. Just wondering whether this is going to turn into a tactical race, Mike, or whether they will still be chasing that silver medal. They were at 1:17.
I think they're still all hoping and believing. I think they're pressing as hard as they can, led by Vindish, but I think they're just hoping that the silver medal might show itself if Latypov has some problems. I think he needs 2-3 spare rounds for any one of these 4 chasing to get a chance of that silver.
Yeah, the pressure is on Latipov, but he's given himself an extra 2 seconds advantage. Christiansen has gone into Sunday stroll mode a day early, and he comes down for the final shoot of the relay. He knows 5 with 5 is enough. He knows that with a minute, as long as he avoids the penalty loop, the gold medal is going his way. Latipov is not quick enough to take more than 10, possibly 15 seconds off him on the last loop. So the Norwegians holding their breath.
And again, Christiansen taking the sweat out of his eyes. Good clear vision again, hopefully.
I think they've all been told to smile before they come in for the standing shoot, Mike. If you smile, you feel good. You do good. First one's down. And 2. Is he going to finish in style? It looks like it. 3 out of 3. Throws 4 wide. And 5. So that will get the nerves jingling.
Got mine going. Dead center
2 shots.
almost.
1 target. The nerves are kicking in now. You can see the movement in the barrel. Reflexes are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant under the toughest of circumstances. Here are the 3 teammates, and they celebrate yet another gold. Most of Norway's golds coming in the relays.
They were very composed. His teammates, I thought they'd been leaping in the air at second spare round being used and putting it down.
Yeah, I'd like a reading on pulse rates and blood pressure on the coaches during the final shoot of a relay. This is for the RBU for their first medal of these championships. 1 more miss, and Latipov is going to be a bag of nerves. Good recovery. Very good recovery. The battle for the bronze is immense. France missed. Jacquelin making a mistake. Samuelsson of Sweden gets the first 3 down. And number 4, is it going to be another medal for Sweden? It could well be. Ukraine might be in on it as well. No, they throw the last one wide. And you don't give Samuelsson a 10-second lead. He will fancy a crack at the silver medal.
He definitely will. Look at the gap. It's nothing. In his mind, it'll be nothing. He'll get straight onto Latipov's tail very quickly, I'm quite sure.
He's just dropped something off the back of his rifle, Mike. I'm not sure whether that was a magazine that fell out.
I didn't notice
it his glasses or something. Something fell out. Now, that will be interesting. What's the ruling there?
Yes, he's cleared. There's a red line pre-range and red line post-range. You can't leave anything in that zone. I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be safe. Maybe it was the glasses.
A look over the shoulder from Samuelsson, and he will soon find out that he's got 12 seconds to spare over Ukraine. Jacquelin is a further 5 seconds back, so no real danger at the moment, but Jacquelin is quick. We've seen what he can do, but I just wonder, he's the sort of athlete that needs the scent, Mike, and when he's got the scent of another athlete, he never lets it go.
Oh, he's a fighter. They ran very similar paces on the previous lap, just 2 seconds. Latipov advantage over Samuelsson. Samuelsson deciding to go early. Is that the wise decision? Probably.
Well, I think Christiansen needs to be aware that Samuelsson has made a move. He didn't quite get a glimpse of Samuelsson, but he's about to come around that corner at the bottom of the climb. And it's not just about time here. It's telling Christiansen who is chasing, because Samuelsson is not just going for silver. I think he's going to try and give the Norwegians a scare here.
Well, he's a brave man, and he's done so much damage to Latipov's spirit that Latipov has nothing left. It appears that way. So great tactics there. Jean-Marc Chablot delighted that Samuelsson got 5 out of 5 rapid fire.
Yeah, and Latipov is now in danger of being caught by Jacquelin, who is behind. And this is as close as Russia have got to a medal so far, or the RBU, as I should say. And Jacquelin senses it is a possibility after the disappointment of the French women this morning. So Christiansen leads for Norway. 42 seconds is still a healthy gap, but when he came out of the range, he had 52 seconds advantage over the Swede.
Jacquelin at the top of that climb, he only has 15 seconds to find, and you know what, in Jacquelin's mind, that's what he'll be thinking. I can close that, and maybe I can actually get that bronze medal.
Well, the applause as opposed to the urgency. you know, I think they're safe. It would be extraordinary if Samuelsson managed to close it. But you just don't want to be complacent at this level.
Well, that was such a gutsy move from Samuelsson. To go early can have danger. Lachipov, I don't know what happened there. They, as I said, there were only 2 seconds separating their times on the second lap, the middle lap, but Samuelsson has completely lifted his game. And Samuelsson, huge risk there. Clearly he wasn't exhausted coming into the range. It was only 19 seconds stop-start to get all 5 targets.
Yeah, the Swedes have shared the medals out. Ponsiluoma, of course, getting a gold. Samuelsson has had some individual success.
Yeah, well, Samuelsson, the 2 bronze and the silver, incredible. The single relay with third and the first mixed relay with third. And, of course, that great performance in the pursuit, hitting all 20.
And Latipov at 52 last time we saw him. Christiansen's into cruise mode. He is into cruise mode. The celebrations have started. It's just enough to make you a little bit nervous because Samuelsson will not let up.
He needs to concentrate. We've seen this in the past. If an athlete just plays a little too cocky, you never know. And I'm sure, but it's safe. The track isn't difficult from here on in. It's a safe journey into the line.
I wonder what Ladipov might now has just 11 seconds. I think he's done the bulk of the hard work, so I think the RBU will survive, get their first medal of these championships. Norway get their 9th medal. It's their 6th gold, and there are still 2 races remaining. So it's looking better and better for the Norwegians, thanks to a double gold day on this Saturday. They won the women's relay this morning in style. They've been even better in the men's relay, and they have pretty much led from start to finish. Absolutely excellent. Started off by Lygrid, Tadia Bo, Johannes Tingesbo, Vetle Sjåstad Christiansen. Maybe they've established a new order in the men's relay.
That was a masterclass from the Norwegian team, no doubt. I thought Johannes Tingesbo was really back to where he has been the last few years.
And the Olympic champions settle and celebrate the silver medal. Femling, Nellin, Ponsiluoma, Samuelsson, the 2 strong men on legs 3 and 4 for Sweden, which is something they haven't always done. It has really paid off today. And well done to the RBU. We need all the big nations getting medals at some stage. They're the 9th team to claim one. It's a bronze in the men's relay. Maybe that will inspire them to something special tomorrow in the 2 mass starts. And nothing Jacques Alain could do. He started that last lap with what, a deficit of 107 on the leaders, but he had 15 seconds to make up on the RBU. Just didn't have enough juice in the tank. And Ukraine, who got a medal this morning, have to settle for 5.
Great shooting from the Ukraine team, only 4 extra shots. And I'm pleased, delighted for the RBU. They need some joy, they need some success. And Lachipov gave everything. I think his middle lap was so aggressive, it nearly tripped him up in the stand shoot.
Benny Dole just pushing the host nation back down into 8th place. Germany, the best shooting score, equal with Ukraine, just 4 missed targets. It all went wrong when Eric Lesser ran out of puff. Did he go hyperglycemic? Not quite sure. No doubt we will hear about that tonight. Wearing number 1, they are number 1 yet again. They get the title back that they won in 2019, and Norway's quartet looking very, very strong indeed. How important is that good start, Mike?
Oh, it takes pressure off. As soon as you start chasing 20 seconds, 30 seconds, you're putting all your athletes, it's a ripple effect. Under extreme pressure, they have to take a lot of risk. When you've got that comfort zone, which Lygrid gave on leg 1, it takes some of that excessive push away. It leaves the athlete in control of their own race, much more so. And what an outing for Lygrid's first World Championships. What's that now, 3 gold? It's not a bad World Championship first time round. And it's his birthday today. It's a happy 24th birthday as well.
Yeah, it's going to take a bit of living up to, isn't it? They'll be celebrating in Yilo in any way they possibly can in these times. And they found a new star. His shooting rate still over 90% in both prone and stand. But Christiansen had the toughest job of all. I thought he was going to finish with a fifer, Mike, but there were a few nerves at the end.
Yes, he kept it exciting, just thinking, okay, I'll miss 2 out of 5, and I'll just use 2 spare out of 3, just to keep us on the edge.
Well done to Sweden. That makes their medal tally 1 gold, 3 silver and 2 bronze. Things have gone very, very right for them since the Olympic Games in Pyeongchang. And then the RBU getting their first taste of hardware. Kalili, Alisiev, Loginov, Latyapov, the 4 members of the RBU team today. But Germany, a mystery, Mike, 158 behind coming out of the last shoot. They end up 143 behind, move up into 7th place. But after leg number 1, Germany were down in 20th position, 123 behind.
Oh, it's shocking, isn't it? Great shooting. So poor old Eric Lesser, he'll take a lot of the. Well, you can't do any more than give your best, and he absolutely gave his best. Nearly had to be stretchered off, but that sport, isn't it? You're so tired. I think the danger was he went so hard to stray with Lightwood's pace. He's not quite that fast, and it has payback as you go around this track.
Yeah. Really struggled at the top of the hill. I think he'll get a call from Marco Morgenstern tonight to discuss the effects of the Pokjuka climb. And as we saw from Thomas earlier on as he skied around the course, it is pretty steep. USA down in 15, beaten by 3 places by the Canadians. And Switzerland, who were there for much of the race, actually fading badly in the end.
And I think that Romania have had a brilliant outing. They're ranked 24th. They've moved all the way up onto 14th position. That's one of their best ever performances, 4:44 behind.
Yeah, Italy were there for much of the race, Mike, in the end doing 2 penalties. And not quite sure where they came.
Yeah, in the end, Italy's still there at 6th place, 135 behind. But I think this Italian team is going to be a strong team. 2 20-year-olds in this team, and they did very, very well with just 1 penalty from Giacomel. But they will be good, and maybe next year they'll be challenging the medals.
So Sweden with a medal in the mixed relay on the opening day of the championships. They get one today in the men's 4x7.5.
Még ugye a japánok még nem kaptak kört, meg ugye még ugye a finnek nem előbben vannak, úgyhogy
Japan coming in, Nakajima. Just have a look at the Japanese shooting. It's not wrong, I thought it was 1 penalty loop. Just get confirmation. 2 penalty loops and 12 spare rounds.
Now, last time we were here for the World Championships, Mike, actually you were racing, it was back in 2001. As we have a look at the top 10 today, Norway, Sweden, RBU on the podium. The order was France, Belarus and Norway, the top 3 on that day. How many of the French team do you think you can name from 2001?
Oh, definitely Poiré, Gay possibly. Julien Robert probably.
Yeah, he was there. Marguerite and Defran.
Defran.
How many teams lapped today? 7. or 8 teams taken out of action, just too slow, losing a full lap, 2.5 kilometres to the race leaders, Norway, which gives you some indication of their performance. Still room for improvement with the Norwegian rifles, 8 misses, but they didn't do any penalty loops, which they have done in previous years. Lygrid started it off steady as ever. Gigener getting a place in the French team. Tadej Bo taking leg 2 for Norway. He survived it. Dion made the chase for France, but missed too many rounds. The Ukraine were there or thereabouts pretty much throughout the whole race. They only ended up 22 seconds off the podium today. Italy, the youngsters did well. But in the end, 2 penalty loops, putting the Italians out of contention. Ukraine, the hot shots, only 4 targets missed. And Johannes Dingesbo handing over to a very confident looking Christiansen. His confidence will have gone up another notch with the way he executed the anchor leg today. The second the final target went down, Norway knew it was all over. Celebrations starting, or rather preparations, for the final day tomorrow, the mass start. That is what will be on the racers' minds. Norway, with the world champion Johannes Dingesbo in their ranks, get 5 entries. Samuelson absolutely delighted with silver, and the RBU relieved to take something away from Pokjuka.
Yes, good shooting from the RBU team there at second best, missing just 5 targets, 5 spare rounds. And poor old Vindish for Italy, remember, he did come into the range for the last time in 3rd place, but he attacked that middle lap, and he also had to take a penalty loop.
Bringing the gold at your first race here. How does that?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't think many of the fans expected me to go the last leg today. We said yesterday that Johannes will go the last leg to the Norwegian journalists, and we wanted to keep it a little bit secret because we know both Sebbe and Jacqueline has sprinted down Johannes the last races, so we wanted to try out me for especially the sprint here is pretty fast. But yeah, what my teammates did today, they kept me in another league for the last leg. I could just enjoy this moment in the front, and yeah, it was a fantastic feeling. And I didn't need to sprint, but maybe next time I hope to meet Emily.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, there's a happy man. A happy man. That decision was made some time ago, obviously, and they were trying to mislead the Norwegian press. And Johannes Dingesbo running scared, beaten by Jacqueline on many occasions now. Didn't want that to happen again. And in 2 relays this year, France out-skiing Norway to the line. So that leaves us with just 2 races. For some, the best races of all. The mass start, only 30 entries in each. It's the best 15 in the World Cup. It's the medalists from these championships and the others who have performed well here in Pokjuka. You could not get 30 better biathletes. Well, that wraps up the action from Pokjuka for today. Thanks for your company throughout. It's been a tremendous day of races, Mike.
It really has, and the relay, it wasn't down to the line as we sometimes see at World Championships, but Norway, what a job from start to finish.
Wasn't quite so easy in the women's. but they make it a double. 2 more golds. They top the medal table with 6 golds, 1 silver, 3 bronze. More points for Norway in the Nations Cup score. Very tight competition in the Women's Nations Cup. Sweden, France, Norway, all with a chance of winning. Germany, of course, aren't out of it as yet. That's nice to have a 4-way race for the women's title this year. And, of course, we've got 8 races remaining on the World Cup, 8 individual races remaining. Should they all...
Nézzük a hivatalos eredményjelentést. Ugye a harmadik helyen az, ugye hát az olaszok, Matyej, Elisejev, Kalili, Alexander Lulov és Eduard Latipov. A másik helyzet a svédek, Martin Fossila, Sebastian Samuelsson, Pepe Femling és Jesper Lenin. Az első pedig a norvégok, akik a világbajnokok 2021-ben. Westland, Gjested, Christiansen, Sturahol, Negleid, Tadej Bős, Johannes Tingnesbø. A bajnokságok.
Dámy a gospodě, účast světových prváků, tím na Norvéžské. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow the world champions, Jönske Detelater. Skål nu till Biathlon som är på plats att ta av sig. Trevligt att prata på Granfeld. Mot opportunity. Gospodje, 10 svetovnega prvenstva za nami, 200 pred nami, kaj reči danes? Vsak dan rečemo seveda, da imajte se lepo, počnite to, kar imate najraje.
No, akkor tehát én ezekkel a képekkel is köszönöm mindenkinek. Jó éjszakát kívánok, és szép estét, és holnap jön a Biathlon VB utolsó, amikor a 2 darab tömegmentes jön. Ma a női hátó verseny világbajnoka a végjellett, és a férfi hátó világbajnoka is a véglett, úgyhogy jó éjszakát mindenkinek, és holnap találkozunk.